My butt's gonna fall asleep.
Yeah, I know. This is a very...
It's a very small
I've been
stool.
sitting on this thing since like 2008, so... Hi, I'm Lane, and this is Spencer, and we're Tall Guy Entertainment, and today we are reviewing Deadpool.
Deadpool was directed by Tim Miller and stars RYAN Reynolds, TJ Miller, Morena Baccarin, and Ed Skrein.
The first thing we notice is the opening credits.
Really funny, and like immediately puts you right into the scene.
Yeah, it has a very honest opening credits. It doesn't actually, it gives no names, just funny sort of, I say like replacements for that, but we don't want to spoil anything, so we're not going to say what it tells you. But that's just, it's very comical and it's very self-aware of what it is trying to gain across.
As a longtime fan of the comic book, like right from when it starts, you're like, this is Deadpool. Like Deadpool made this movie. Yeah. So right after the opening credits, it kind of starts to go, and then the movie slows down a bit to me because it starts to delve into some not action-packed things, like not to give away spoilers, but to some stuff that doesn't really involve action. It kind of goes into just more character development type things, and like it's good, material, and like it's written well. It's just, to me, it slows down the pace of a movie that starts with like a fire, like it just starts, and then it kind of like slows down a little bit, and then it picks up later though.
Yeah, but I think I like that better because it's like I prefer that more to like the first Avengers, where it's like, you know, just the origin story, and then for like the first hour, and then it gets into it, because that was like really. Like, if you ever watch Avengers again, I've heard this from, like, everyone I've ever talked to about Avengers, is that it's like, oh, well, I don't want to... I'll watch Avengers with you, but I don't want to sit through the first hour. Mm-hmm. But this one, it's like whatever, because it's like 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's really quick.
And then it keeps jumping back to what the action that's going on currently, and that sort of keeps your mind off of the serious stuff. Yeah,
the way it's presented, the way it jumps back and forth, it does slow down, but then it'll jump right. It knows when it starts slowing down, and it'll jump into something exciting. The relationship between RYAN Reynolds and Morena Baccarin's character, I don't remember her name, but...
it doesn't... I forget her name, too.
I forget the character's name, but like...
Her name isn't really important to the story.
Yeah, but it works really well. Like, you immediately tell they have chemistry. And even in some of the more like awkward sexual scenes, like you enjoy watching them doing it. You don't feel weird watching it.
That's a weird thing to say. You enjoy watching it?
Like, you enjoy seeing them interact. Like, you don't enjoy watching them have sex.
I also wrote down the torture scenes, which was like the more serious thing, but it was still like, he made it so that it would be a little funny, but also so you get the point across. It's like, hey, this is why he's angry all the time.
I feel like Tim Miller did a really good job.
Yeah.
From like switching into comedy to where like you knew like it was something serious, like the music would change and you would like expect Deadpool to say something funny, but instead he would say something like dark, and you'd be like, oof, it's going down now. I think one of the actors in the film who really steals his moments are TJ Miller. Like when he's on screen, he just dominates.
I think my favorite like quote from him was oh, you should go talk to that guy that's waiting for you in the corner, it'll probably further the plot. And that was like hilarious to me.
Not only do they have Deadpool have meta humor, but like I feel like everyone does. Everyone will say something once in a while where you're kind of like,
except for like Colossus.
Colossus.
Except for the X-Men.
He's in a movie.
They don't really understand.
Yeah. Oh, Colossus is in the movie longer than you'd expect. Not to be spoiler.
True.
He works really well too. He acts as a really good foil to Deadpool. Someone who's really a do-gooder, follows the rules, doesn't want to like.
He offers a comparison. You know, he's like the good guy X-Men, and then Deadpool just like does whatever.
Like watching Deadpool and then watching Colossus, it makes Deadpool himself funnier because Colossus is so like polished. I guess that's a good.
Literally,
literally polished. He's chrome. But TJ Miller he is awesome in the movie, and when he's on screen, you know something. He never does anything serious. Like every time he's on, it's funny.
He's like I'd go with you, but I don't want to.
I thought Ed Skrein as the villain was really good, and he was. I don't want to use foiling him. He was like he was very similar to Wade Wilson. It was kind of like watching Wade Wilson fight a more dick version of himself.
Yeah, and he was like watching Wade Wilson fight like a non-comical version of himself. It was like Ed Skrein was like, is that how you say his name? Skrein?
Yeah, Skrein.
Yeah, Skrein was like, you know, he was sort of like Deadpool, and he sort of like if Deadpool was a total villain, he would totally be that guy.
He's like Deadpool without the humor and more evil.
Yeah.
Like Deadpool, I never even read the comic books. He's not really evil. He's just a douche, but he's a funny douche. Ed Skrein is a mega evil douche. Like, you hate him in the movie.
Yeah.
I think his name is Ajax. But I don't want to give away what they call him throughout the movie, but it's
true.
He's just going in, his name is Ajax.
The humor throughout the movie was just great. It's there was the part in the first, half hour where it sort of got a little serious. But after that, other than that, it was constant through all. And
even in some of the
never
serious...
really lost its speed, I don't think. Most comedies, it's like, oh, well, this scene's funny. And then it's like, oh, well, this scene's serious. And then it gets back to being...
It
funny,
never feels like it's trying too hard to be funny either.
It's true. It's just naturally
funny. Yeah. Like, you're just, even watching it, even when something's not funny going on, just watching Deadpool be Deadpool is funny. When the movie starts to wrap up, I mean, obviously you can tell, but the ending is great. And there's
it is great.
Like, it's perfect. It's
probably one of my favorite superhero endings.
Yeah. Like, sometimes superhero movies can kind of end unexpectedly, like with Fantastic Four when the freaking villain shows up 15 minutes before the movie ends.
Yeah, and then sort of like Avengers, where it's like, conveniently everything just shuts down.
Mm-hmm. This feels
which goes for both movies, both Avengers movies.
Yeah. Most Marvel films. But
I actually felt benefited this movie because this movie, there's not, just an army of villains. It's just Deadpool and this one guy.
It's very self-contained.
Yeah, it's like Deadpool, this one guy, and then this one guy has 50 people with him.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like too big for its own good. Like, it knows it's about one character, and he is in the X-Men universe. Like, not to be a spoiler, he is. It's
not like, hey, he's gonna take on a giant army because he doesn't. That'd
be
unrealistic.
Deadpool versus this one guy.
Yeah,
and. I felt like it being smaller really helped the movie because it was too big. Then it would have been well, why aren't the other X-Men here? It's because it's very. No, the X-Men didn't need to be there. It was very small.
Yeah, and it's like it's like the Marvel movies, except the Marvel movies, it's like, oh, why wouldn't Thor show up and help out Iron Man or something? And then this one, you never really think that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's like because he can handle it himself, and that.
Yeah, that. It doesn't need too big to nothing's too big for assistance.
Yeah,
from X-Men, but it wraps up perfectly and
in a very Deadpool fashion.
Very Deadpool fashion, and even though I think the last line in the movie is pretty funny too.
Yeah, that's true.
And stay for the end credits. There is an end credits.
There is an end credits,
and it's funny. And if you are a fan of '90s films, you'll think it's funnier. Here at Tall Guy Entertainment, we give our reviews out of 17. Just 17's a fun number. So I'm going to give it a 15.5. I think everything was great. For me, it did kind of slow down towards right after the opening credits. It kind of slows pace a little bit, but it didn't affect really my enjoyment of the film. I can't give it a perfect score because to me it wasn't perfect. But it's a funny movie. Some of the funniest stuff I've ever seen in a movie.
And I went in thinking it would be terribly bloody, but it was about, if you've seen Kick-Ass, it was about
it's like the same
sort of
violence level of Kick-Ass.
Yeah, so there's there's blood, but there's not it's not like a stupid amount of blood. It's not like a Quentin Tarantino movie.
No. Like sometimes the violence is the kills are just creatively done, which is cool.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Like, you enjoy watching the kills, but
you enjoy people dying in this movie.
So I'll give it a 15.5. Slows down a bit for me, but the rest of it's great. It's one of the funniest movies I think I've ever seen because it's so self-aware and
it's one of the most consistently funny movies I've ever seen. Because I have favorite comedies where it's like, oh yeah, this is probably one of my favorite comedies, but there's always half an hour that I would cut out of the movie that I don't want to watch
or just feels unnecessary
because it's like, oh, this part isn't that funny, so can we fast forward?
But every scene and it feels like it's needed, and every scene is pretty much funny.
I would go back and watch this whole movie again because it's just I would feel like something was missing if I didn't see this whole movie.
I would definitely go see it.
Because even when it gets serious, it's still part of his his fun origin sort of thing. So I'm going to give it a 16 out of 17 for that reason.
Go ahead and subscribe to our channel. We're two fun dudes.
Two fun dudes who accidentally wore the same thing today.
This was not on purpose. Just look here for reviews coming soon of upcoming movies, and we do a nerd talk. I think every week we're going to do a nerd talk.
We do reactions with our friend Cody.
Yeah, so Cody's a funny guy.
Those are fun. Yeah. And then we have our speculation Saturdays where we're basically going to be uploading a video where we just take a bunch of topics about I think our first one's going to be what if Luke and his uncle never bought R2-D2 and C-3PO,
What would
and
have
therefore
happened in
never
the
got the
movie?
plans, would he still become a Jedi, whatever, blah, blah, blah,
What
blah.
would have happened, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
So that might be, it's sort of that sort of thing, like saying, hey, what if this happened? What if this didn't happen?
Yeah.
How would it affect the franchise?
It'll be taking like minor scenes from movies, taking them out and then saying like, would everything have flowed the same way? What would have happened? Stuff like that. But so
a lot of thought-provoking questions.
About movies and favorite franchises. So yeah, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you next week for a nerd talk.
Yeah. Thank you.